It's Thursday. I'm thankful. We're coming up on November. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. But as we know, we don't have to wait until Thanksgiving to give thanks. Gratitude is really something that we can adopt, not just on a daily basis, but throughout the day. An attitude of gratitude really helps reshape our perspective on the world around us. It helps us to see that there's really more hope, joy, more opportunity. There's more good around us than bad. So today, I'm thankful for so much. I'm thankful for. I had a conversation with a guest at the cafe where I worked, and it was a really good conversation. And it made me grateful for my mom because we were talking about education, and my mom homeschooled me and my siblings in the 90s, and it prepared us all for college, creativity. It prepared us all to pursue our interests without feeling a sense of low self-esteem or a doubt about it. And that's not saying that schools cause low self-esteem or doubt, but she equipped us to become who we want to become. And she did an amazing job. And I'm grateful for my mother. She passed in 2013, but she was so dynamic. She was ahead of her time, truly ahead of her time. I'm grateful for the lessons she taught us. She would take us to the library all the time. And I wish I could ask her I know her confidence came from her faith, but I wish I could ask her if there were moments when she wondered if it would be enough, or if she just knew the whole time that what she was doing would really set us up for success. I wonder if she just was unwavering in that revelation that, you know what, I'm about to really set my kids up to be who God made them to be, to express themselves, to learn, to be lifelong learners, to have no academic barriers in their pursuits, right? I wonder, but I'm grateful. When I was a kid, I used to want to go to school because all my friends went to school. But, we had an amazing social life. My mom did all sorts of community organizational outreach programs and things like that. We went on field trips with the kids in our neighborhoods. We participated in art programs in the summer. We had a rich childhood, even though we were not rich. We were poor, like very poor. Not just food stamp poor, but there was a poverty line, and you go down really far down that, beneath that line, and then there's another line. That's the line we were under. That's how poor we were. We lived off my dad's Social Security income and just whatever my mom and dad could hustle up. And they were hustlers, It's Detroit. Everybody hustles. But she was an amazing teacher, an amazing woman of faith. A lot of my pain points, a lot of my struggles just in the past, maybe since she got sick. She was sick in 2010, 2011. So about the past 13, 14 years has been just watching her get sick and knowing that she left in such a dramatic way. It felt unfair to see such a beautiful soul suffer the way she suffered, especially a woman of such intense faith. I do know she struggled with just the stress of life with my father, even though I love my father, and she loved my father. Their marriage was not blissful, not all the time, hardly ever, but I know she had some disappointments. She married a man with a job, and then, for most of their marriage, I think maybe for 2 years he had that job when they got married. He was a post office worker, and after that, it was just disability. And I know she struggled with some of those disappointments, but she was so dynamic. And she and her father and my father, they partnered to really create independent thinkers in their children. And I am so, so grateful. And what I was talking to the guests about was just how I was a teacher for 3 years. I taught middle school English for 3 years, 2021, 22, up until last year in October. So, yeah. I I just remember the immense gratitude I had, even as I would teach, that my mom found a way around the school system to truly educate her children. And I won't say she made it look easy, but it didn't take that long. I was pretty much like, I think by the time I was like 13, 14, I pretty much just started doing what I wanted to do. Mostly, which was reading and writing. I just love to write. I started writing my own stories, books, all that sort of stuff. Tried to get one of them published. And I would spend a lot of time on our computer just coming up with stories and listening to music. But it didn't take that long for her to get us ready. And I don't know if I had doubts that I would be ready for college, but I remember taking my ACT. I didn't study that long for it. And then she didn't make us go to college, and she didn't discourage us either. She told us if that's what we wanted to do, God would open up a door for us to do that. So I decided, I was the first one of the four of us. I was the first one to decide to just go. My older brother, he applied, he got into Michigan State, but I don't know, he just decided not to go. And he instead did real estate. My older sister was still contemplating whether or not she was going to pursue art. I decided I would just go ahead and just go to college because I loved learning and I loved reading and writing. I loved language. I loved literature. Loved it so much, and I wanted to become a journalist of all things. I love storytelling, and at the time I was obsessed with sports and sports journalism. I wanted to be like a Sports Illustrated writer or be like Stephen A. Smith, and this was around the time the Pistons won the championship in 2004. And I have a video about that, how it shaped some of my goals. But I decided to go to college, and I felt ready. I went to a local college, Marygrove College, here in Detroit, and I just remember being in the classroom and being around other people, and it didn't feel strange. I wasn't socially awkward. I made a lot of friends very quickly. Too many friends too quickly, even at such a small school, but I was ready. I had thoughts, I had ideas. And it didn't feel like a huge fight to do well in school. Like, I was on the dean's list my first few years. I was in honors programs. To be honest, I was doing well until I started really just fooling around and goofing off way too much, partying and acting up. But other than that, the academics itself, like, my mom really prepared me for college. My mother, who only had a high school diploma from a DPS school, Detroit Public Schools. And of course, a lot of it has to do with my father being the thinker and the orator that he is. I remember my grandfather, who passed in 2018, he was very encouraging, even though he was strict and stern. And he had so many grandkids that he didn't really remember all our names. He would call us Chicken. Hey, Chicken. But he would tell us that we were meant for big things, that we were important, that our last name was what it was, and that meant that we had to become something, not to waste our brains. I just remember him being, and he wasn't always vocal about it, but he did not like stupidity. I'll just put it that way. He frowned upon stupidity with an intensity that I inherited. But it was my mom who unlocked the learner, the studier, the student in me. And I'm just so grateful for her today. So grateful. And I'm making up my mind today that I'm not going to let all of that innovation and ingenuity end with her. Now, it hasn't. I've done things, I still have ideas brewing, things I want to work on. My sister definitely is moving forward. Like, my family, we're moving forward. My mother's children are moving forward. But there's something about the way she taught us, the way she created, like I said, learners, independent learners, the way she unlocked things in us. I am determined to execute the ideas that I have, to continue to do that for other children. I'm not going to be in the classroom anymore, but I have some ideas. And I was talking to the guests at the cafe about it a bit, and he reminded me I have been working on some things. I do have some things brewing, and it has to do with school. It has to do with students and education and youth. And I'm not going to give up on it. I'm going to execute it. So I'm thankful for the conversation I had with him. I'm thankful for my favorite hoodie today. You may see this Reebok hoodie in a lot of my videos. I'm just thankful that I have jobs where I'm allowed to wear comfortable clothes. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful to God for the way he arranges things, even in the midst of what can look like chaos and destruction. I serve the true and living God who pieces together a tapestry of a life in a way and that becomes artwork that sometimes if we stare too close at one part, we don't see it. But if we step back and start to look at the whole picture, it's beautiful. And I'm grateful. So that's what I'm thankful for today. And maybe I'll do Thankful Thursdays moving forward. I think it'll be a good practice because, we can get so caught up in what we want out of life that we may miss precious opportunities daily to really reflect on what we've had the privilege and honor to enjoy and experience in our lives thus far. So yeah, I'll be back. I'll do this again next Thursday. Y'all stay blessed.